Did you hear the voice of the original Mario speak in one brief cameo from the movie? And did you realize that wasn't the first time we've seen Mario and Luigi do that rap together? These are the things you missed in Super Mario Bros. So did you catch the reference in the movie's opening scene? If you're paying attention to Bowser's moving lair, it looks a lot like Bowser's lava lair from Super Mario Galaxy 2. On Team Bowser, you'll see Blue Shell Koopas, Kamek, an antagonist from the franchise ever since his introduction in Yoshi's Island. Behold,
the King of the Koopas!
And Bullet Bills. Bowser takes on an army of penguins,
Attack!
who you may recognize if you've ever played Cool Cool Mountain in Mario 64. But in the end, Bowser opens a question mark block, something that's been part of the series since the first Super Mario Bros. Game, and he earns himself a Superstar, which, for those of you who need a reminder, is a power-up that grants the players invincibility.
Now who's gonna stop me?
And all of this is backed by a pretty incredible score. The Easter eggs in Super Mario Bros. Aren't only on screen. You have to listen for them too. Composer Brian Taylor teases that you can find hundreds of references to the game in his music, like when Mario, Peach, and Toad pick out their rides for Rainbow Road. At this moment, you can hear the selection music from Mario Kart 8 in the background. A remix of the Invincibility theme plays when Mario and Luigi hit the Superstar, and you can hear the Underground theme when they go into the New York sewers. But it isn't only the games getting referenced. You know that cheesy rap Mario and Luigi do?
We're the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game.
Well, that was a direct reference to the Super Mario Bros. Super Show from 1989.
We're the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game.
And that isn't even to mention the Easter eggs hidden in the musical moments. What did you think about the character songs?
It's from my one and only true love.
Especially Bowser belting out his feelings for Peach while playing the piano. Jack Black actually wrote Peaches himself. And as much as it makes sense for them to play into Jack Black's skills as a musician, that isn't the only thing you should be paying attention to here. Look closely at the piano Bowser's playing. You can see it has Ludwig von Koopa inscribed on the side of it. And Ludwig von Koopa is the eldest and possible leader of the Koopalings, who have served as minor antagonists in the video games ever since they were introduced in Super Mario Bros. 3. Ludwig von Koopa's name and design have always been a callback to Ludwig van Beethoven, so it sort of makes sense to reference his character in such a musical way, just like it sort of makes sense for you to subscribe to our channel if you're enjoying our video. But for now, let's move on to another classic reference. So that Mario and Luigi cheesy rap scene actually led to a pretty iconic cameo later on in the movie. When Mario asks about the Italian accent he put on for the commercial, the man who answers him sounds exactly like Mario does in the games. He's even sort of dressed like him. So what's the deal? Well, as it turns out, that character was voiced by Charles Martinet, who's been providing us with the voice of Mario since 1991.
Hello, it's me, Mario!
And not only that, but the characters he's playing can also be seen using a Jumpman arcade cabinet, and Jumpman was the original name for Mario in his first 1981 appearance. Charles also takes on the role of Mario's dad for the couple of scenes where he appears, as a cute sort of nod to the way he handed on the role to Chris Pratt, to become the newest hero for the Mushroom Kingdom. The Easter eggs seem endless when Mario arrives in the Mushroom Kingdom. Right away, he encounters the bug-like Bitty Buds of Super Mario 3D Land, but it's once they get to town that things get really interesting. You can see the coins from the games being deposited out of blocks by Toads like some sort of ATM. We see that Toads get around by using clear warp pipes like the ones in Super Mario 3D World.
Oh wow, love these pipes.
And what else?
Okay, so these bricks are just floating here?
Yeah, those have been around ever since the first Super Mario Bros. Game. Princess Peach's castle looks exactly as it did in Super Mario 64, right down to the paintings of different landscapes along the walls like the ones that the players use to access new levels in the game. The Super Mario Bros. Movie definitely went out of its way to include some obscure details. Did you recognize Foreman Spike? He's introduced into the movie as Mario and Luigi's boss, but long-term fans of the game may notice that he looks a bit familiar. Well, that's because he served as an antagonist for the brothers in the 1985 game Wrecking Crew, where he was the foreman of a construction site where our heroes worked at. He'd just generally serve as an annoyance by removing platforms, taking things, and doing other things that would slow down the player's progress. But otherwise, he was just doing his job. Despite this, we wouldn't see the likes of him again for several years. That is, until the Super Mario Bros. Movie brought him back and reinforced that he was still the boss of our iconic duo in one way or another. And Foreman Spike isn't even the only old-school character from the games who was brought back for the movie. Pauline is. She was introduced at the very same time as Mario, as the lady he needed to rescue in the original Donkey Kong arcade game, which we'll be talking about more later. As you can probably tell, her history with the Mario universe is rich, but she was sort of brought back for a more modern audience in Super Mario Odyssey, where we got to see her as the mayor of New Donk City, which is sort of like the Marioverse equivalent to New York City. Now, unfortunately, we don't get to see New Donk City at any point in the movie, but we do start out in its real-world counterpart, and apparently Pauline is still in command. If you look closely at the news broadcast that announces rampant flooding in Brooklyn, you can also see that Mayor Pauline is there, trying to soothe the public and talk to reporters. She's even wearing the exact same red pantsuit that she was seen wearing in Odyssey. Donkey Kong is even introduced with a reference. When we first see him, he's brought out to the tune of the DK rap, which was actually the song that opened up the game Donkey Kong 64.
Here we go.
So when Donkey Kong squares off against Mario in the movie, he pulls out some pretty memorable moves, throwing barrels like he does in the Donkey Kong game, and rolling just like he does in the Donkey Kong Country game. Mario is even almost beaten in this battle, becoming winded and dropping his famous "It's a me" line. But he's got to get to Bowser's wedding. Mario's able to turn the tides by donning the Cat Mario suit that was first introduced in Super Mario 3D World.
You got the cat box!
This moment also gives us a brief glimpse at the character of Diddy Kong, who was Donkey Kong's partner in Donkey Kong Country. Were you at all surprised when you found out that Bowser's plan involved marrying Princess Peach? It's a plot we've heard before, but it's a classic, so we'll let it slide. And besides, we can't deny that he's looking pretty stylish wearing the exact same wedding outfit that he wore in Super Mario Odyssey. And that guest list was super impressive. We have King Boo of Luigi's Mansion, King Bob-omb, who serves as the first boss in Super Mario 64, and Petey Piranha from Super Mario Sunshine. A few special power-ups from the games help our heroes to turn the tides and save the day before the credits roll too, like the ice flower Peach uses at the altar to rescue the prisoners, and Mario's Tanuki suit from Super Mario Bros. 3, which helps him to fly. Did you stick around until the final moment? The Super Mario Bros. Movie went full-on MCU and gave us 2 post-credit scenes. The first one gives us Bowser crooning another version of Peach's, but it's the second one that's really worth hanging around for. This one shows us a strange egg that then shakes, quakes, and gives out the familiar cry of the Yoshi. Chris Pratt has already teased that this moment gives us our first glimpse into what we can expect to see in a Super Mario Bros. Sequel, and says that he's very, very excited about the possibility that we'll get to see our favorite green dinosaur in the next one. With so many Easter eggs and references to the games, it's no wonder why some are saying this movie feels like a love letter. Are there any other references you noticed that we maybe didn't include? We're all huge Mario fans here, so make sure to let your thoughts be heard in the comment section down below.